All right, with the NBA season officially underway following the Philadelphia 76ers opening night loss to the Boston Celtics, we're going to talk about this game because there are plenty of subject matters to hit on. Is James Harden back? Defensive concerns, depth issues, and Doc Rivers' rotation. I thought it was pretty interesting, the players that he used, when he used them, and some of the players who didn't get run. First, make sure you join the family, my Bulls, and subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 10,000 subs. We're almost there. A little more than 1,600 people away. Multiple Sixers videos coming your way every single week. It's youtube.com/76erstv. Make sure you lock us in and hit that red subscribe button. So really the biggest storyline from this basketball game, it's all with James Harden. He was really good against the Boston Celtics. And keep in mind that last year Boston had one of the best defenses in the NBA. Defense in this opening night matchup in front of a nationally televised audience, it was kind of spotty on both ends. But after an offseason of hard work in which James Harden appeared to have lost some weight, it looks as though maybe he has half that step back instead of the full step that he appeared to lose last year because of that hamstring injury or because he's just getting old. And he came out firing. I thought that James Harden looked good. He looked decisive. He looked confident in himself shooting the basketball, but also that body. Probably his best offensive game as a Philadelphia 76er. 35 points, 7 dimes, 8 boards. He was 9 of 14 from the field. Inside-outside game was working. Had that little mid-range Jimmy popping. And then 5 of 9 from 3. And he was able to knock down a couple of those threes in a variety of ways. Off the dribble, little pull-up, catch and shoot. He made a defender miss at one point and clunked that jumper, and everybody made fun of him on social media. Well, you can't make fun of 35 points, and this was a vintage James Harden performance. And moving forward, obviously James Harden isn't going to do this night in and night out. It's just not possible to sustain this, and given how deep the Sixers are with that starting 5, he doesn't need to do this every single night. But if this type of James Harden can show up here and there, Sixers offense in a very, very good spot. So I want you to get into the comment section right now and voice what you think of how James Harden played. Greatest performance, A, B, C, D, or F, let me know down in the comment section right now. And as far as this defense, obviously James Harden isn't going to be a defensive stalwart, right? But they didn't play much defense at all outside of James Harden. The Sixers giving up 126 points in the season debut against Boston. And this is somewhat alarming, but I'm not going to hit the panic button right now because there's a long season to go. And when you have guys like Joel Embiid, and you have players like P.J. Tucker, as well as Matisse Thybulle, like you have good defenders on this team that will help your defensive unit. But offensively for Boston, they had it going on in a variety of ways. And they were led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who last year I thought really emerged after that slow start as a legitimate and elite 1-2 punch. And anytime you have two weapons like that at the wing spot, a lot of teams in the NBA are designed to maybe stop one of them. Stopping two is a very tall test. But the Celtics last night, by the numbers, shot 56% from the floor, 34% from 3, 10 turnovers. Jason Tatum with 35, 12 on 13 of 20. Nobody could really stop him, and Matisse Thybulle was basically a DNP. He didn't get in until garbage time, didn't even tally one solo minute of basketball last night. And then Jaylen Brown, 35 points on 14 of 24 shooting. And this team, with how it's built, I understand that Daryl Morey brought back some of the familiar players with James Harden and brought in some players who complement him. And those Houston Rockets teams from back in the day, they were sieves defensively, right? But this team, with how it's built, should not give up 126 points once the season starts to progress. And P.J. Tucker, Daniel House, they were signed, as well as DeAnthony Melton for that matter, to play wing defense against some of the best players in the NBA. And on some of the switches, I thought the Sixers were really sloppy. They were slow to react in a couple of ways. So that concerning against Boston, but honestly, going into this year, I would have pegged Boston the better team as compared to Philadelphia. That's exactly how it looked last night. The Sixers have to prove me wrong before I fully believe that they can win the Eastern Conference. So what do you think? Are you concerned with the Sixers defense? Once again, I'm taking all of your responses, your questions, your comments, your hot takes in the comment section. But for the matter of this exercise, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Another reminder to subscribe to the channel And these are all reasons here why you should subscribe to the channel here on Philadelphia 76ers Now. Latest Sixers news and rumors. Multiple videos every single week. When breaking news happens, we're faster than anybody out there. Our trade and free agency coverage, I'll put it up there with any other YouTube channel out there. Everything that we do is 100% free. Interactive mailbags during the season and during the off season. And more subscribers simply equals more videos. So if you want more content like this from a guy who grew up in the Philly area, lock us in, hit that red sub button. As for that Sixers starting five last night, this was great. I loved how the Sixers starting five played, but as we're about to talk about, the depth, not so good. Tyrese Maxey with 21, Embiid with 26. The 6 turnovers were definitely problematic. Harden dropping the 35 piece. Tobias Harris with 18. If he can be your third or fourth offensive option, that's solid. And PJ Tucker is never going to be a go-to offensive player. Like, there was a classic James Harden, PJ Tucker moment when Tucker was camped out in the corner. Harden hit him with a really crisp pass right to his shooting pocket, and he was able to drain it. But the bench here is where I'm starting to get a little bit concerned, because in the preseason, it was certainly up and down, and last night they got exposed. I mean, Doc Rivers, I thought it was pretty telling that he played a lot of his starters 30-plus minutes. The bench had 11 total points last night. DeAnthony Melton, where are you at? Matisse Thybulle played 24 seconds of ball last night. Paul Reed did not play at all, and instead, Doc Rivers does what he always likes to do. He goes with the vet in Montrezl Harrell, but Montrezl Harrell is just not a good defensive player. I like Paul Reed. I think he should be a part of this rotation because he's so active, he's so long, and the activity that he gives you and the energy that he gives you on the defensive side of the floor really is valuable against a team like Boston, who has slashers, they have dashers, they have shooters, they have playmakers, and all of that. So those are really some takeaways from that game last night to the Boston Celtics. Obviously, Joel Embiid was fantastic. Like, he once again offensively was very, very good, but you saw, and again, I'm not making a huge deal out of this, but when he gets pressured, cornered, double teamed, he gets a little bit flustered and can turn the basketball over. That was a big byproduct of those 6 turnovers. So speaking of that bench, let's go back to that point. Which bench player do you think needs to step up for the Philadelphia 76ers? Why don't you let me know? I'm really looking forward to DeAnthony Melton. I mean, you trade away Danny Green, you get rid of that $10 million salary, you bring in a player like that who was awesome for Memphis last year. I think it's a matter of time before he gets going, and at the end of the day, it is one game. My Philly Bulls, if you're subscribed and you made it this far, I want you to type real one. Be smart, because we give you smart Sixers coverage, and in turn, we make you a smarter fan. Subscribe today. Appreciate all of you for watching, and keep it here for more Sixers coverage.